Welcome to SEO Hangouts with Josh Bachynski. C'est moi. Today I'm going to be going through a special Google leak that has come out from an old student of mine, Dan Scher. Dan Scher is a wonderful fellow who used to be a student of mine before he drank the white hat Kool-Aid. This is more when I'm still a white hat. I'm perfectly white hat. Google, you've been checking into my stuff recently, I noticed. I'm perfectly white hat, sir. Thank you. I'm as white hat as any true white hat is, which is not fully white hat. And today we have with us Chico, one of my students. Hey, Chico, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to see you.
Pleasure is mine, sir. I just shared a video of me sparring, and Chico also is in the martial arts, and we were discussing how fat and old I am.
I got the fat part down.
Yeah,
you can be old.
So you can join my my SEO mentorship group, both for SEO advice, for martial arts advice. You can learn about the hippie music I like to listen to that has like special brain power things that power your brain. There's all kind of stuff. There's multiple reasons to join my mentorship group. So thanks for joining there, Chica. If you have any questions, just let me know. How's the audio? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you really good.
Okay, good, great. So I have the air conditioner going. But fantastic. Okay, so like I said, today I'm going to go through the Dan Scher leaks. They're not leaks from Dan Scher, although he leaked it. They're originally leaks from Google, from Gary Ilyish, who is a webmaster trends analyst in the Zurich office, the same office as John Mueller. And 2 years ago, they had dinner in Boston. And this is how the white hats find out any information that's good, is that they follow Google around, kiss their butt, and buy them dinner. And eventually Google throws them some bones, throws them some scraps from the table. And so I prefer to use science. If you've never seen my show before, I use scientific method, the best scientific methods, the most clever scientific methods to reverse engineer Google's algorithms to tell exactly what the ranking factors are. I know them, and we have nothing but pages and pages of positive results to prove it. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof. That's bit.ly/SEO proof to see the proof. Don't take my word for it. Look at the evidence. You should always be looking at the evidence. And so the leaks from Google are pretty good. There are from 2017, that's 2 years ago, but a lot of that is still in play. I'm going to share that with you today based on my scientific knowledge of what I know is still working and still not working. Eduardo says, I can give me a shout out. Can you give me a shout out? Sure. I don't know what that means, Eduardo. If you have any SEO, well, that reminds me, thank you, Eduardo. If you have any SEO questions, you can ask them at the top right-hand side. If you want me to do an analysis of your site, either with Cora, which is a great correlation SEO software tool, very powerful, or with Screaming Frog, let me know. Put your URL in the right-hand side, and I will be more than happy to give you a site analysis and share everything I can for free. And if you want more of the Black Hat reverse engineer stuff, you can always join my mentorship group. I still have the special on for joining my mentorship group. I won't have it on for very much longer. It's a lazy summer special. So go ahead and email me to get information about that. Okay, and if the YouTube crashes, just go ahead and restart it. It'll do that from time to time. Just do a force refresh on the page. Okay, so let me share my screen. And let us go to the Gary Ilyish leaks here. So you should be able to see them on my screen here. And so these are leaks, again, as I said, from 2017. I didn't copy them all down. Anything that's still relevant, I copied down. And so this is what Dan Scher was leaked from his Gary Ilyish dinner he had in Boston 2 years ago. So the first thing is that Google can and does read any JS in the HTML. That's true. That's a fact. We've scientifically tested that. So, keep that in mind for keywords and things like that Google is looking in your JS. If you can choose any name for a variable, why not choose the EMQ you want to rank for? Because that's going to have more instances in there as long as you're not going over any kind of over-optimization thresholds. Newsflash, they have over-optimization thresholds. And if you don't know exactly what the over-optimization thresholds are for the URL, for the title, for the meta description, for the meta keywords, for the heading tags 1 to 6, and for the body content. If you don't know what the proper over-optimization penalty is there and the sweet spot for the keywords, you are not going to have a hope in hell in ranking. To find out what those are, just email me. at joshbachynski@gmail.com. And I would love to get you into our mentorship group. And it changed today, by the way. The rules for meta description changed just today. Google is on to me, and they realized that they had ridiculous rules going on here to the meta description, and so they changed it. And of course, my experiments noticed immediately and informed me of the change, and so I've made the proper change to that. Thanks, Google, for caring. It's always lovely when Google is trying to look into your stuff. I don't know, Chica, if you were on vacation when this happened, but just last week, I couldn't search on Google.com for half an hour.
What? Specifically you?
Yes, yeah, just last week. The username Josh Bachynski on Google, couldn't search on Google.com for an hour. And the few tests I had going on didn't work. But I found a way around it within about 30 seconds. So that's just Google, just Google going, I'm watching you. We noticed you're very good at what you do, Josh, and we're just gonna go boom. Like that's the grizzly bears going in my direction. Not even looking, just going. I keep on walking.
Associated with Josh Bachynski.
That's right. What's that?
I am no longer associated with Josh Bachynski. You're paying attention, Google.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is that it's safe. The videos are mostly safe because Google employees traditionally don't watch videos, they don't have the time. But if you've ever written down your stuff anywhere, then there's a problem. Also, don't go onto Google AdWords and post an ad saying that you can reverse engineer Google's algorithms. That tends to tip them off. I might have got a little too aggressive in my Google ads lately. So don't do that. Pro tip. But they look in, they see that although I do have all the secrets, most of what I recommend is still white hat because in long term it's the safer way. Anyway, an aggressive white hat that knows exactly what the limits are and aren't, and if you don't, you have no hope in hell of ranking. Anywho, so I found a way around that, but so Google's paying attention to me, so I must know something. So speaking of Google, anyway. So, as I suspected, Gary Ilyish 2 years ago claimed that old domains still have a minor link signal, but they don't have any vectoring signal. Of course, they're not going to have a vectoring signal because assuming you change the content, you're changing the vector. But they are still going to have a little bit of a DA, so to speak. However, he did also confirm in the same discussion, he did also leak to these sycophant white hats in the same discussion that if they notice you've changed content, then they will flush the DA entirely. So if you're going to buy an old domain, you can't change the content too much, otherwise they're going to know. However, I have no idea if they changed this by now. That was 2 years ago, and I still would not bother with any old domains. We can rank guaranteed with a brand new domain. There's no need to waste $5,000 or $1,000 or $10,000 or even $50. Well, $50 maybe, but $100 or $200 on a domain that you don't know if it had a penalty previously or not, unless you want to engage in negative SEO, which got confirmed down here. Which, I mean, we already knew this anyway. I've pretty much known all this from experiments. So this is what Google confirmed. They do look for user loyalty. That's what they called it. That was their terminology. In comments, positive comments, in positive user reviews. Dan Scher speculated repeat visits. I don't know if Gary Ilyish actually mentioned repeat visits. Everybody tries to, in their traffic spamming programs, put in repeat visits. I haven't seen in my scientific testing that it is in any way, shape, or form important. It's not repeat visits, it's visits. I've scientifically tracked visits and know that they're a ranking signal. In what way and what form they are, they're both a boosting ranking signal and they're a demoting ranking signal. So again, let me just, so traffic equals a signal, and then it can boost and also demote. So if you don't know how to look for how it boosts and demotes, you're going to be in some trouble. Definitely take a look at my mentorship group. I have a special going on. If you want to find out all these secrets, I would love to tell you more, but the people who pay me to keep it secret might be a little angry. So I have to serve them first. I serve my students first and foremost, and then my lovely listeners. And then Panda is a site-wide signal. They have a score. We already know this. I know exactly how it works. I've scientifically tested it. Well, not exactly how it works. I know mostly how it works. Any point I can scientifically test and know how it works. Whether or not it's called Panda anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's besides the point. It's all this stuff right here, mostly, for the most part. Newsflash, and we already knew this, but in case anyone was confused, and there was a show earlier this week where somebody was confused about this. A expert was confused about this. Yes, 302s and 301s are treated exactly the same. Multiple studies have come out this week, not this week, but this year showing this, and it was still the same in 2017. They have to keep it this way because there's certain programs that will do certain content management systems or certain web servers that will do a 302 automatically, and they want to pass that link juice. Believe it or not, Google is trying to rank you. What? Google is trying to get good ranking pages. Wow, did you know that? That's what they're trying to do. If you are a good ranking page, they want to rank you. They want to help you. They want to fix your canonical errors. They want to bypass your bad mistakes you made. And so if you're a good ranking page and you have the vectoring signals, you have the potency signals, you have the other silos you got to have, this is true siloing. These are all the proper silos you need. If you have the content vectoring, the document potency, if you have the QDD aspect, the one that they like, if you have the special ranking stuff, et cetera, that I would teach you, if you've got all the tech stuff set right, if you have the speed set right, and you have all these other silos here that you got to have done correctly, or you have no hope of ranking on page one, unless you're in a really, really easy niche, in which case it doesn't matter. Yeah, you have to have all that right. And if you do have that right, they want to rank you. They want to rank good ranking pages that are clearly on a topic, that are relevant. Remember, for Google, relevant equals quality and vice versa. So just take a think of what that means and what makes a page relevant. What makes a page relevant for the search query best red apples? I wonder. All the various things that could be, and that's what quality is, and that's what they're trying to rank. So Google is on your side if you know how to feed it what it needs to be fed. And you have to scientifically test that. You can't just guess. So get the group that scientifically tests. If you don't like me, there's other groups out there. If old URLs avoid groups that are just a guru saying that maybe this will work, or he thinks it'll work, or he's been in the business a long time and this works for sure, like Cough Cough Chase, Cough Cough Dean, Cough Cough, the other bald guy, Neil Patel, Cough Cough, all the bald guys, Cough Cough, Dimension Chase. Don't listen to those guys. They have no idea what they're talking about. They will destroy your business. They will take your money. They will destroy your business, and you will not get anywhere with SEO, and you're going to have to quit and get some job from somebody else. If you don't want that to happen, join a scientific group that's actually doing science. Join a scientific group. That's the best takeaway. Join a science-based SEO group. I have a sale on right now. I can't spell right. So join a science-based SEO group. I strongly recommend it. You cannot do science. You cannot do SEO without it. These days, Google has made it too difficult and too complex of us trying to reverse engineer their algorithms. Okay. If the old URLs had traffic and links, test the redirect to see if good or bad signals are forwarded. So this is coming right out of the mouth. This is coming right out of the mouth of Gary Ilyish. That really is a very interesting and blatant admission. This is the admission that, and I've seen it in the field, so I know that it works, that you can do negative SEO from a 30X, from a 302 or a 301. They have both traffic-based algorithms and they have link-based algorithms that both can be promoting and demoting based on a certain URL. So if you've moved domains, or if you've bought an old domain and you want to test to see if it is good or bad signals, this is coming right from Google, 2 years old, but right from Google. I don't see why they would have changed this up until now. I guarantee to you they have not changed the linking algorithms since 2017. I guarantee to you they have not, except for one admission down here, which I already predicted. You could just 301 it to a URL and see how it goes. See what happens to that URL. If it goes up, great. If it goes down, bad. You just turn off the 301. All you got to do is turn off the 301. Now, this is bad because that means that anyone could 302 or 301 a confirmed algorithmically penalized URL to you, and you will take a hit to some degree of bad links / bad quality. But here's the issue: the quality is not going to matter too much if it's on a different content. If it's on the same content, the same vector, then it's going to matter. Traffic and quality in Panda is based on vector, so it's the closing the loop of the vector. So if it's not on the same vector, then that's not going to matter. I don't know how close on the vector they need to be really at that point, but that's not really going to be a big deal. But links, just links, as they said, there is just kind of a minor link signal on the domain. It's not vectorized, but it is just a minor link signal there, and so they can give you good or bad effect by just 301ing or 302ing any old domain. If you were selling red apples and someone selling blue cigars, 301's yield spammy penalized bluecigar.com at you, you can take a bit of a hit from that. Can you disavow that? I don't know if you could disavow that. Probably not. You might be able to. By the way, if you're doing a site move, you really should use Search Console. That's the next thing that Gary Ilyish leaked. He said that if you're doing a site move in Search Console, it should only take a few days. Search Console should definitely and very clearly tell Google, hey, I moved bestredapples.com to joshsfruitemporium.com. Now, that was a very bad example because I just removed keywords out of my domain name. Well, maybe it's not actually. Actually, that's probably a very good example. Moving bestredapples.com to joshsfruitemporium.com is probably not such a bad thing, all things considered. It might make it less potent for now, but then Google has a love-hate relationship with EMDs, and 6 months out of the year, I see them boosting, and then Google turns them off again. Then they turn them on again. They turn them off again. Other people have noticed this as well. So I'd probably just stay away from an EMD besides the point. It's a very lower threshold of it being well for you. I mean, it could be good, but I'd probably go for a partial match. A PMD would probably be better. Less aggressive, but still get the boost and less risk. Anyway, if you're going to do a site move, use the Search Console tool to do so. It should only take a few days. Now, here is the trick. You shouldn't be changing domain names of a ranking site anyway, because you're going to destroy the rankings at least for a week, if not for a month, if not for a number of months. However, do not make any other changes when you do the domain name change. The URL structure must stay the same. It can be really negative if you suddenly don't have the trailing slash, for example. In the URL structure, it must stay exactly the same, I should say. So they can find the previous page A exactly. Hey. Where is the caps lock? Exactly. There we go. It has to say exactly the same. It can be negative if you suddenly don't have the trailing slash, for example. So use it. It'll do the site move. It really works with Google. It works really well. FYI, Gary Ilyish leaked that the structured data system testing tool they have uses the actual Google structured data algo. So that's a real thing. All right, regarding disavowing and linking, he said, and I've been saying this for years, you can ignore the partial match penalty. He confirmed 2 years ago what I've been saying for much longer, disavowing and linking, that Google ignores bad links, period, full stop. You do not need to really do anything about these. There's only two classes of super bad links that you can disavow, he said, or just delete them or just don't have them. One is forum profile links. The other one is comment links. Another type of link that I know is very bad for you is cloaked links. So, for example, the linking text, like say can was a link, but you can't tell because the linking text and the regular text is the same color and there's no mouse hover or something like that. That's a cloaked link. Those are bad too. I would not have any other. That's from me. I would not have any of these kind of links pointing at you. You can't disavow them, but Google pretty much ignores bad links anyway. Disavowing them, he did not say whether that would or would not help. I believe Dan Scher is probably a white hat drinking the Kool-Aid purist, and so he seemed to believe in the conversation it would help. I don't know if Gary Ilyish directly confirmed it would help, but he did directly confirm that Google ignores bad links, and you pretty much can ignore the disavow file, which is what I already know from testing, that they don't. In scientific testing, I've never seen any effect of using a disavow file that wasn't negative. He did also admit, Ilyish also warned not to use the disavow as it will most likely hurt you, which is exactly what I found in my scientific testing. So do not use the disavow. The disavow should be dead. No one should be talking about it. It shouldn't be a thing anymore. And it pretty much is, but every now and then I get people who've recently disavowed, and that's really too bad. It is not. It's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you. Yeah, Google made a way for you to negative SEO yourself and shoot yourself in the foot, and people do. So don't use the disavow file. In scientific testing, the only thing it did was make your rankings go down. Apparently, it will work removing links from your link profile, and for the most part, you have vastly underestimated how much links are helping you, and you vastly overestimated their spammy quality. So the disavow file does work. I've scientifically tested it. It will de-rank you for the most part. I've also I've never been able to successfully use it to make a site go back up. Anyone else who has done this has never done this in controlled scientific testing, and so I call bullshit that it was a disavow file that worked. They are always usually go back up, usually when there's some kind of clear other thing wrong, or like deleting links and things like that. So don't use it. Ilyish said not to use it. Said it will likely hurt you, and that Google ignores 99% of the bad links anyway. It's just these kinds of links that you need to worry about. Any kind of the old SE nuke links that are like really clearly forum profile links or comment links, and as I found, cloaked links too. Or these spammy 301s. I guess you could disavow those. I don't know. But you have to make sure that it's hurting you. And you have no way of knowing if you're not the one turning it on or off. So disavow is the last thing I would do also. Should be the last thing you do. It should be the very last thing you do in a long chain of things. Here's the chain of things you need to do. You need to do your on page first. The chain of things you need to do. You need to do your on page here first, which includes more stuff than that's here. This is like 80. This is a good 80% of the rankings right here, I'd say. Then you need to do your tech stuff here. This is 70 to 80, I'd say. Then you need to do this. Then you need to do the speed stuff. There's all kind of ways and special ways you need to get faster on speed. There's these things here that are very important that you need to do. The last thing you try, and then this usually is enough to rank in most niches. If you've done this part right, you might not even need links. Then you just add, a few 5 to 10 links on a page. You don't link to the domain. There's other kinds of linking stuff you need to do. We know how to make our links 3 to 5 times more powerful than the standard linking. That was just one little drop I gave you there to link to the page. There's more to do, and it would be much cheaper and much more powerful than you expect and much safer than you expect. And then after that, if you're still not ranking and you really have done all this correctly, then and only then would you possibly look in your link profile for those bad kind of links I mentioned or bad 301s. You should use link research tools because to my knowledge, it's the only one that actually includes 300s. Hrefs might do that. I don't know. People who are crazy about links and worry about links far too much might know better. But links are so minusculely important, and we get such good results. What we're barely thinking of them that I don't even know. I don't even care. Everyone in the industry thinks that this is the main thing. It's not. This is the main thing. It's not 2007 anymore. It's 2019, and they have a very powerful vectoring, document potency, QDD aspect, element potency algorithm that does the majority of the ranking. The vast majority of the pages you get back on a search are all ranked based on that for the most part. The rest of this stuff is just confirmation. This and it does use links to a minor degree, but it really is like seven out of 3 at best. I'd probably say it's more like 8 out of 2 here, really, in terms of weight. Really is what I would say. That's my best guess, rough guess from the bulk of all the testing I've done. It's not like you can just put links together, put pages together and link to them and see a one-to-one correlation there. Okay, yeah. So yes, disavow should be the last thing you do after you look through the link profile. It's not the first thing you do, because it'll probably hurt you anyway. Like, yes, like everyone thinks that they're the Neo, and they're the one who can do fancy kung fu and are going to beat Agent Smith. No, you're not. You are within the 90%, and the disavow is going to hurt you if you do it. So don't. If you add new URLs of lower quality, no index them. He mentioned user-generated content. I don't know what the substance of that conversation was. The white hats are all concerned with like types of pages and thinking that that's what Google means by quality. It 90% is not. It really 90% is not. As far as I can tell scientifically, it's not at all. I rank gibberish, crap, spammy pages all the time. Quality is just based on this stuff right here. That's it. That's quality. So I don't know why Dan Scheer was so, why he even cared that Ilyich said this, but I didn't get any context from him. Maybe I could have Dan on the show sometime. They also confirmed user signals for Serps. Again, the traffic thing I'm talking about, they confirmed it multiple times. I'm sure all the white hats were just agog about, newsflash. I've scientifically tested this 4 years ago. Welcome to the club, white hats. Google looks for consistent templates across subdomains. This was something that I suspected, and I was very happy to see confirmed. I would not be at all surprised to see it working the same way. A consistent template across a subdomain is the same domain. Oh, and by the way, I already knew this as well. Blog on folder or subdomain equals no difference. So whether you have blog.redapples.com or you have applesblog.redapples.com or you have redapples.com/blog, it is all the same, and you do not want it. This is Josh telling you, you don't want a blog. You don't want to be writing articles about the latest thing that's going on, not unless you're magazine level quality and you have a great readership and people love it. Oh, and that's what you want to rank on. That this level of the sales funnel up here is where you want to rank. If you want to rank on these queries here and you don't want to confuse Google and make their job harder to rank you, great, then run a blog. Otherwise, don't. If you want to rank down here where any money changes hands, then do not have a blog at all. And instead go directly for the kind of things you want to go for. That is hard learned by both field tests, really only field tests, and some single variable experiments, but not really, mostly just field tests of seeing what Google does when we delete the blog. And hey, it gets better. I'm not the only SEO who thinks so. This especially applies to local as well. Oh, by the way, and here's another thing that I've suspected and said for years. Any of my long-term listeners will know this. Big brands don't need to worry about links. What? Surprise, surprise. What's the smiley face with like a big open mouth? That one? Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Chase was partly right, but not for any client that listens to him or is anywhere near his radar. Big brands, and I mean big brands, they don't need to worry about links. They could lose all their links. It doesn't matter because there's another signal that replaces links to some degree, and I know what it is. It is this one right here, number 6 and 7. Number 6 and 7 here are the exact algorithms. These two are the exact algorithms that replace links when you have enough of them, enough of this stuff. And you don't need any links at that point. That's why we do. One of the reasons why we do links last. So I've scientifically tested this. I suspected for a long time. I proved it through science. And I was very happy to see 2 years ago Google confirm this. Here's that statement that DA can completely go away if the site changes hands with new content. They do have algorithms to detect that, guys. So if you buy oldcars.com and you're trying to rank stuff on flowers, it's not going to help you at all. You just wasted your money and incurred more risk. The domain selling game is 90% a racket. Don't be fooled for it. Here's something I guessed as well. All manual actions will be, this is 2 years ago. He said that all manual actions will be replaced with algorithmic action to simply ignore questionable links. Blah, blah, blah. There you go. They do not want to have any human raters. They're moving away from human employees as much as they can. They want an algorithm to do everything. The algorithm they trust to be more sufficient. Algorithms are better at detecting breast cancer now. They're better at playing poker now. They're better at playing chess now. They're better at playing Go now. And they will be better at detecting questionable links. So you heard it here first, folks. I was saying this years ago. Google confirmed it. They, in 2017, do not fetch outer JavaScript. So if you had like the script and the source was somewhere else, they do not fetch it. And you could use that to change the look of your page. And at that time, you could cloak content from them. But you cannot, I don't think this is how this works anymore. I'm pretty sure that I've seen testing that's not true. I shouldn't have even said that. I'm pretty sure it's not true. Somebody asked, how do I rank for a big head term like meat? And he says, and Dancer quotes him, look at Wikipedia and do what Wikipedia does. Have a head page that talks about meat and then links to subkinds of meat. So basically he said, make a silo. But that's not all he said. He said, have a head page that talks about the types of meat. George says in the chat, so SAPE links are safe now. I don't know if you wanted me to out that comment, George, but no, I wouldn't use SAPE. SAPE is not a good idea. SAPE is hacking people's sites to give you links. That's probably not a good idea. I wouldn't use SAPE just because it's illegal. You're doing something illegal with it. The links are probably perfectly fine. You wouldn't believe the kind of links you can get. So it's really about, this is the key right here. Everyone looks at this and thinks, oh, silos. And then they think that's what you're supposed to do. The answer is no. I've tested it. Silos do not rank better. The essence of the thing that Dan Scher missed, because he doesn't scientifically test anything, is that it's this part of the leak right here. Talk about types of meat. If I wanted to rank for meat, what kind of things would I say on my page? What kind of semantic vectoring would I have to do? What kind of potency would I have to do? What kind of keywords would I be using? What kind of other kinds of keywords would I be using? Other people call them LSI keywords. They're not. LSI is not how it works. LSI is broken. But it's closer to a way of thinking about it. That's kind of I could prove that, by the way. It's closer to a way that it does work, however. So it's more about this, and he's saying here that it's possible that it doesn't matter how many links it has and other signals. By the way, don't forget about this that he said here. Wikipedia doesn't need any links to rank. It's more about the content vectoring, quite frankly, the vectoring cycle. It's more about the vectoring cycle. And that they do not use Wikipedia to train their algorithms. Wikipedia does not get any kind of special boost or bonus. That's what this statement he's saying here implies. He's saying just do what Wikipedia does, but you have to think about that in a way where you understand scientifically what's going on. If you just make a silo on your page and think and call it done, good luck, buddy. You're not going to rank. That's not going to work. I have the science to prove it. Just because you can get a silo to rank doesn't mean that was the optimal way to do it. Silos are not the optimal way to do it. People who rank silos are ranking in spite of their silos and doing SEO improperly, doing SEO poorly. It's just that silos is not a cardinal sin. Silos is a what's the little sin? Small sin? A misdemeanor sin? I don't know. What do they call it? I don't know. It's silos are not a big, huge offense. It's not a huge mistake. to do silos. You can still, Google still wants to rank good pages. Remember, Google is still trying to be nice to you. So if you do it in a certain way where you've gotten out of 10 things, you've gotten 7 right, and you're doing it better than everybody else because they only got 5 things right, well, then you're still going to win. Although my group does things like 9 out of 10 right, if not 10 out of 10 right, because we've scientifically tested the claims of others. Anyway, and so those are the links from Gary Ilyish and Dan Scher. Very interesting stuff. Let's take a look now to see what people are talking about here. If I have any questions, if you want me to take a look at a URL, by all means, keep that in mind. Okay, we have some questions here. Eduardo says, yo, dude, I've been waiting for like a live stream for a very long time. Shout out to you, and I love you so much. Thanks, Eduardo. I do these shows pretty much every week, so you shouldn't have had to wait that long. Although last week I was doing a private course for my students. Now Eduardo is I think laying it on a little thick, but Jamie says, what do you think of the FAQ schema markup trick going on? I don't even know what it is. Who cares? What is it supposed to do? Jamie, explain to me what it's supposed to do. If your ranking strategy is composed of doing tricks, then you're probably in trouble. It's like going to a forgive the extreme example. It's like going to a cancer coping group and asking them how they like the new nootropic cancer trick. If you're using tricks to try to cure your cancer, you're in some deep shit. And if you're using tricks to try and rank your pages and base, I do contracts that are $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. If you're using tricks to protect that budget, you're in some trouble. That's not. I mean this with all sincerity and charity and compassion. So you want to learn it the right way. You don't want to have some tricks. You want to learn it the right way, and the right way is science. Don't like me? Fine, that's fine. Go join a different science group, but get in a science group, and then when those other science groups fail and you can't do it, come to my group, and then you will succeed. Eduardo says, oh, okay, George tells me that this FAQ schema markup thing makes your site look like an FAQ, but that also means you won't look like a sales page either. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. You're going to have to mention, Jamie, what this FAQ schema markup trick exactly you think it's doing. I could test it to see if it's any good. Gary says, good advice. I'm glad you think so, Gary. Jamie Lee says, quality is CRO as well. Yes, conversion rate optimization is quality at the end of the day. Conversion rate optimization is super, super, super important. If you're not doing conversion rate optimization, you're in some serious trouble. Jamie Lee says 6 and 7 equal citations. No, good guess. Citations is like 0.01% of ranking for local and 0.000% of ranking for global. So no, 6 and 7 are, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone in the industry focuses on these tiny little tricks and kind of blow them up to thinking that they are the main strategy. That's like in UFC, if you thought the guillotine was how you're going to end every fight and that you're going to get everybody in a guillotine. There was one guy like that, and he won like 6 or 7 fights, and then he didn't win a single fight after that. You can't be a one-trick wonder. So no. Silo 6 and 7 here in the formula are not that I mentioned, that I circled and said were so important. They're not citations. No, citations would be a kind of link. And as I said, links are a tiny portion of your rankings, and even less. Citations are even less than that. And the local guru I listen to, Jordan Pierce, is mentioning that citations really aren't that big of a deal anymore anyway. So I wouldn't worry about that. Gary Carlisle says $300 a month. He's talking about my mentorship group. As I said, I have a small sale going on for new time joiners. So you should ask me about that, because that's not correct. So you should ask me about that. Deirdre, a sale, a promo going on for a very short amount of time. I'll be closing it very shortly. Deirdre Calendar asks, in terms of ranking for head terms, let's say we're trying to rank for the head term of a country such as Jamaica. How would you approach building a page and subpages around that? I wouldn't care about the subpages, one, because again, silos are not the optimal way to rank. Not necessarily. And around approaching that page is the same as I would do for ranking any page. The subtle admission there that you're getting from Gary Ilyish, the subtle admission you're getting there from Gary Ilyish is that every page is treated equally, so that they don't have to adjust when a new Wikipedia comes out and demote the old Wikipedia and promote the new one. All of the pages are treated equally to scale up in terms of their semantic vectoring, in terms of their content vectoring, and their potency, their document potency. So, which is the majority of the rankings anyway. And then they're just doing query reserved diversity, QDD filters on top of that, geographic filters, personalization filters, aspect filters, which is probably the most important one that we've learned how to manipulate. Whatever other filters are in there going on, freshness filters possibly going on in there as well. So how you would do that? That's exactly what you'd learn in the mentorship group. It's how you would attack every page. It starts with the proper vectoring. It starts with the proper vectoring. Does microdata markup help you rank better? Microdata markup, a little bit. Scientific testing shows that product schema can help you rank for product-based queries. Review schema can get you this review stars that get you better clicks. That might help you out there. But other than how it assists in vectoring, see, everyone thinks there's all these crazy ranking factors. There's not. Google is way, way smarter than that, guys. They have 80% of the rankings going on with one algorithm or one cluster of algorithms that closely work together. They're like Einstein. They have an E equals MC squared that ranks 80% of the shit and does so pretty darn well, and gets rid of reverse engineering SEOs and everything at the same time. These are a few hundred. I think it's a few hundred engineers. Could be 1,000. These are a few, but probably in the working the search algorithm. These are a few hundred to a couple thousand engineers that are some of the smartest PhDs, some of the smartest engineers in the world, because Google has gone out and cherry-picked them to be that way. They make algorithms that beat the best Go players, that can detect breast cancer better than doctors with 40 years experience, that can beat poker players. They can make an algorithm that can rank a couple of effing pages, okay? So they have it with one algorithm, guys. So you are vastly underestimating how smart Google is, and the likelihood of ranking if you don't have some good core scientific behind you. You can rank, you can do it, because at the end of the day, Google wants to rank you if you give it what it wants. You have to give Google what it wants. You have to know what Google wants. You have to know how to give it what it wants better than everybody else knows how to give Google what they want. Gary did have a question there. He retracted it. He was claiming that $300 a month is a lot, or that he didn't have it. I fully understand, Gary. Please don't take this comment the wrong way. But if you can't afford $300 a month for the education to get into an industry where you can literally make $500,000 a year, I make just shy of $500,000 a year. If you can't spend $300 a month for that, then you're definitely in the wrong industry. It shouldn't cost any less than that to be able to make that much money. It shouldn't. That's how hard it is. I know SEO used to be this easy thing that was free and get into it. You can make a lot of money and then get out. Those days are, I'm afraid, those days are long, long over. You need some serious education. Usually people are like 50 to 80 grand in debt for some kind of master's degree that would be comparable to what kind of education that we're giving here. So I mean, I know 300 a month is a lot for some people to pay. Definitely for people overseas. Definitely for people over, my friends over in India, my friends in Pakistan, my friends in the Philippines. I know those people come to me all the time and they're asking, for help. I'm trying to get mentorship groups set up in other languages. I'm trying to get a Spanish one set up. I'm trying to get one set up over in Europe. I'm trying to get one set up in Hindi. I'm trying to get one set up in other languages overseas. If you think you can help me with that, please email me. But I've yet to find people who are really reliable and really understand it well enough to be able to, because I don't speak these languages. I'd have to rely on a translator and, of course, someone who's a program operator, a program manager who's going to run those courses in other languages. So yeah. So I know $300 a month sounds like a good thing, but I'm trying to give you a solid piece of life advice. If you can't afford that, you're too late. You missed the boat. You have to get a job somewhere else. It's just the way it is. Go look at paid traffic if you still have some time. But to learn that properly, you're going to have to take a course anyway. And then go on Upwork, try to find some jobs. Maybe you can get some jobs on Upwork fairly easy. Jamie says, can I remove the rabbit behind me? It's kind of scary. I could. That could be done, perchance, possibly.
I thought it stood for Google is watching.
Yes, it's got a camera in it. It's got a camera here. Here. Haha. There. Go over there. It is a bit creepy, isn't it? All right. Now we just have John Mueller and the bones of Matt Cutts left. You see, I can respond to requests. So yeah, Gary says, I get you. I've only just started in SEO, really. Double the profit of local business, though. So maybe one day soon I can join your group. Plus, you do this free vids, and they're the best. Thank you, Gary. Well, I try and make the free vids good. Back even a couple of years ago, my business model was different. I was able to give out much more free advice. I could try and tell you exactly how to do it, but this was because I was just a SEO. I was doing mostly client work, and so the hook there was I give free advice. I know people are too lazy to do it, so they hire me to do it. Now it takes most of my time is taken up running this mentorship group where I have to run scientific experiments to find the actual ranking factors, because you cannot guess at the ranking factors anymore. I am happy to see with this Google leak that most of my guesses, and people who've watched me for a long time will know I'm telling the truth, that most of that stuff that was in there I had already guessed, and I was happy to see that my guesses on Google continue to be usually correct. But you should not rely on from-the-hip guesses when you have a budget of 10 to 20 grand a month. That's a lot of money to be wasting on guesses. You need to have scientific proof, and so that's why my main job now. The students are whom I serve, and I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to put the good word of SEO out there. But one of the good words of SEO is saying, sorry, if you can't afford $300 a month, you missed the boat. And it's not $300 a month. I have a sale going on right now for new joiners for a limited time. But that's the regular price. That will be the regular price. And if you can't afford that, you missed the boat on SEO. You could join other groups that are free, and you think you're getting the same thing. You're not. You're really not. I know no one likes it when I say this, but hands down, my group is the best SEO group online, the most reliable SEO group online with the most reliable science. If you check the science of all these other groups, all of the other groups, including the ones that used to be on my show and then took half my viewers and left, those guys are not doing science. They're going to conferences. They're patting each other on the back. They are not doing stringent science. I could prove it to you. They don't ask me. They don't do any peer review with people who disagree with them. The very fact they don't do peer review with people who disagree with them proves that they're not doing science. I have other people in my group that check my stuff because I need to keep it in the house, because that's where the money is now. Sadly, it's in secrecy. Sadly, the money in SEO is in secrecy. With free SEO, there's no money there. They're just trying to sell their software programs, which one of which is a very good program. Don't get me wrong, but that's not SEO. They don't know SEO. They don't rank sites. They're not responsible to rank sites. I proved them wrong this week. No, people don't like it when I say that, but that's just the way it is. And when it comes to people losing their mortgages and losing their jobs and losing their money, when it comes to people losing their dream of a new job, imagine somebody coming to SEO and thinking, "Oh, great, I can do SEO from home. I'm working from home. This is my home office. Oh, great, I can work from home. Finally, I can be with my kids. I can work from home. SEO is this godsend for me." Just imagine how crushing it'll be for them when they learn that they've been listening to all the wrong gurus who've been feeding them lies, who don't have an effing idea what's going on in SEO, and no one told them the truth of what it costs to get into it, how hard it is to do, what rigors, scientific rigors you need to get to. If they didn't find me when they started, I have 15,000, 16,000 subscribers. I've been doing this YouTube videos for 10 years. They've probably seen a video of mine, but they didn't manage to get this rant. And they listened to somebody else because it was free and they thought it was just as good. They said the word science. They must be doing science. That's not the same, guys. And then they're going to try ranking. It's going to be lackluster at best. They'll probably lose their business. They'll lose their opportunity to make money from home. And they're going to have to go to Starbucks and get a job and work for some asshole. I'm trying to avoid that for you. I'm trying to, if somebody is trying to work from home and they're going to do SEO, send them this rant right now. I'm trying to avoid that for you. I'm trying to give you the no BS answer of exactly what it's like and how hard it is. And if you can't afford $300 a month for the proper education to do it, I'm sorry, then you missed the boat. You're going to have to go and do something else. Okay, now let's see. Okay, that rant's done. Okay, yeah, so I understand, Gary. I fully understand. Thanks very much for watching the vids. I hope to help out more. Superfly dude asked, how many experiments do you perform and show in an average month? 3 to 4 experiments a week, including case studies and in the field experiments, maybe even 4 to 5. So that I'll say it's 4 to be safe. So it's 8 on average per month. No, 16 per month for the most part. That's what has been going on there. Digital XL says emailing to find out more if there is a link for the summer promo. Yeah, just email me. Just email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. joshbachynski@gmail.com. Google knows who I am, both the employees and the algorithm. And I will send you the information for the promo. We've only got 5 more minutes here, 8 or 5 more minutes. Any more questions? Chica and George, I see you guys have been having a conversation here in the chat. Is this a safe conversation for me to start talking about publicly?
Oh yeah, this is safe. This is we just noticed that you just skipped over a slight bombshell.
What's this? Which bombshell was that?
Well, at least it was for maybe for some, but you said that sites that turn over content, the domain authority gets reset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, with that being the case, one common practice that people used to do was to resurrect websites. So they would go get an expired domain, resurrect it, put their link on it. Well, now that becomes null and void. Yep. So the power no longer maintains. Also, even if you get someone else's website from them via auction and change out the content, you're still wiping out the link juice that you'd be getting from it based on that leak. So that almost assuredly kills PBNs. So
there used to be an old way of doing PBNs, which I used to kind of rely on 7 years ago, which is what you'd buy old domains that were really cheap, and you'd go in the Wayback Machine. It used to be called, I don't know if the Internet Archive, I don't know if it still exists. I think there's a version of it still existing somewhere. And you would resurrect the old domain and not change the content. So as far as Google is for this in suspicion that Google did this, and we were right. So they're still doing it, 5 years later, 2017. So you would resurrect the domain, and I have a Skype message here. Let's see. It's somebody angry. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. You would resurrect the domain and not change the content at all. And then you'd put an index page link, because index page links are the most powerful mid content. And you would, it's still not the best way to do it. There's still ways you could make your link way, way more powerful and much cheaper and less risky. But you would do that and you wouldn't change the content. And then in like momscookies.com, you would put a link saying, thanks to Josh Bachynski for his SEO and helping us rank at SEO, or Josh Bachynski would be a link or whatever, depending on how aggressive you wanted to be with your link profile or whatnot. I do not recommend that as a way of doing linking for a simple reason. One, it's too risky. You don't know if momscookies.com was a Russian hoax, or if it has like a huge penalty and you're actually penalizing your site or page, unless you're being really careful about the link juice and you're sending it to a link router page. You could check to see if it goes up or down, or a test page first to see if the link juice goes up or down. That's one way you can test the link juice for PBNing. I'll give that pro tip out there. When if you're doing PBMing, if you've decided that's the way you want to do your links, because let's say you've got a team already doing it, like I wouldn't start doing it now. Don't. There's much easier ways to do it, much cheaper ways of doing it, and much safer ways of doing it. That when you hear what our linking strategy is, you're going to be, other than one thing, you're going to be like, really? That's like totally surprising, and no one else talks about anywhere. Nobody else talks about anywhere. You hear everything else we're doing, and you'll be like, you could do that? I'll be like, yeah, you can do that. But other than that, doing it that way, in the PBN way, if you have people set up, we have far more easy ways to do it. But if you already have a team set up doing PBNing, then yeah, don't change the content, because you're just robbing yourself of that link juice. And I wouldn't do it. It's a risky way of doing it. Make sure you have to. This is not a choice. If you're doing PBNing, you have to link to a test page first, which you may or may not want to use as a link router later. And then you have to see if that page goes up or down or didn't move at all. Unless it goes up, you don't want to use that link juice, because it's either useless or hurtful. And the more links you get, the more risk you have. Anyway, like links are like cigarettes. You can smoke 10,000 of them, and then finally one's going to catch you, right? Or maybe the first one will catch you. Or I could have used a more lurid example. Use your imagination, but that's what it is, right? It's dangerous. It's like late at night, and you're like, should I do this? Yes, that's what linking is like, especially with PBNing. So the less you do, the better from a long-term perspective. Getting each one of those right is definitely important. You definitely need to test your PBN links, and just having a little test page to do that on. If you're doing the test page correctly, then it'll be very, 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 very fine signal. It'll be very, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll be very not careful. I don't know. The word's gone from my head. It's very fine-tuned. Let's put it that way. Be a very fine-tuned test. It's a very sensitive test. That's what I want. A sensitive test. If you do the test page right, it'll be super sensitive. If it gets any link juice, it'll go up. You'll see even the slightest movement. And if you don't, then you know there is no positive juice to that link to be found. Okay, I'm not going to repeat what they're saying there in the chat. Okay, so thanks very much. If you have anyone have any final questions there? Anybody on the YouTubes? There's about a 30-second delay, so I'll wait for 30 seconds after I say this. Alexander Atanasoski says, greetings. Thank you. And then he deleted it. This is the Alexander I think this is. This is a guy who likes to keep his profile light on the internet. Let's put it that way. How you doing, Alexander? So if anyone has any final questions there that you want to ask, otherwise I'll bid you adieu. Tune in next week, where I'll try to explain a little bit more of the content vectoring, the element potency, the multivariable indexing, the actual environment you're trying to rank in these days. I'll try to talk some more basics about that next week. And Chica or George, do you guys have any final questions you want to talk about?
Nope, I am good. Thank you for the show.
It's my pleasure, my friend. George asked, what's my email again? You can email me for this, for any SEO questions you have at all. Any SEO questions. If it's a 5-minute question, I'll be happy to try and answer. Email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. And if you're interested in this limited promo I'm doing for the mentorship group, I'm going to close it off very shortly. Email me again at joshbachynski@gmail.com and start learning SEO the scientific way, the right way, and rank. Yes, sure. Here's my email in the chat, as somebody asked. It's there. And I'll put it here. Email me here for any SEO question. I'll put it in the comments as well. Somebody asked a very contentious question. Superfly Dude says, how much is my group better than SIA? Uh-oh, that's going to get me in trouble. I am friendly with some of those folks. I was asked to present at their conference this October. I turned them down. I love SIA. I love a lot of people in it. Dory runs SIA, and I've been friends with Dory for a very, very long time. I will only say that the way I do science is different than the way they do science. And they seem to be much more black hat. They seem to love their PBNs no matter how much there's better ways to do it, quite frankly, in my opinion. And so, yeah. So I think my science is stringent. I think I've been luckier. I think I've hit on some deeper. I'm a more educated scientific tester. I have a master's degree. I have a PhD in a science adjacent field, so I'm quite familiar with how to do experimental science, not like mathematical science, experimental science, where you roll up the sleeves and you're doing experiments and reading experimental reports, journal reports. So I like to think I do it better, but that's my opinion. Of course, that's what I'll say. SEIA is going to say that they're better too. So listen to what they say. Listen to join their group. Listen to my group. I will push. I will contest my results with their results any day. My results are at bit.ly/SEO proof. Don't believe my word for it. Go to bit.ly/SEO PROOF and look at all the results we have. There's probably about 280 results in there now from the last 2 years of people dominating page one. I didn't make those up. I didn't Photoshop them. Those are all real, every single one. So if they don't even have anything comparable to that, they don't even publish anything. They don't even publish anything like that. Never mind. I publish all of our successes. Never mind having anywhere near the number of it and it being as impressive. They don't even have examples to prove it. So I will put my examples up against anybody. At the end of the day, that's what you want. You want someone who's willing to say, yeah, here's my proof. Here's bit.ly/SEO proof. Go check it out. Don't believe me. Go look at it yourself. So Alexander says, Josh is the most ethical SEO guy on the planet. I'm going to rank him for that keyword. Okay, sure. Maybe we should have a ranking contest on that. So thank you very much for watching. This has been SEO Hangouts with Josh Bachynski. For those about to rank, we salute you and good luck in the Serps. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.